With winter approaching, we're in a hurry now, but things are really coming together. Windows are going in, the sod's in already, we got power and water in now. We've had so much help, not just from the Belaires, but Evan and Brad have been helping out, and all the different people around our community and our family have been pitching in to make sure we get this thing done in time.
Oh yeah, parking lot's going in. Wraps going on the building. Windows are going in. Plumbing's all getting hooked up. Making good time now.
Your border here,
Yeah.
this is almost 100-year-old drill stem. My grandfather salvaged that from Dow Chemical probably back in the 40s or 50s. That's where it comes from. There's even some of the original torch marks on it.
Perfect border for our lawn here.
Perfect border for rig end.
I love the product, but I wish Jeff would have got bigger sod rollers.
Prepping up some 2x12s, top ledger board. This is kind of the outside roof system for the veranda we're putting up. So we ran out of screws yesterday for the tin. So we're just actually waiting for our supplier to get more.
I noticed there's some pretty blue screws.
Yeah, they are pretty blue screws, but don't got no more. So we're gonna get some of the other structure up and then tin up to it as soon as we get material back.
Perfect. What are we working on today?
Oh no, doing windows. The window day.
We got a nice +3 day in November here. So Jordan's up there, getting the drip edges on. He said there's lots happening today. What's going on?
There is. We got some electrical happening.
Very
we got
cool.
tin going on outside. We got 3-phase coming in.
And we got insulation in the roof.
We got insulation in the roof.
Beautiful.
My neck has been like this for 4 days.
You had enough of that? You still have the whole other side to do.
I know. Yeah, I'm giving it a rest.
That's good.
I'm a visual guy. Mike will tell you I'm picturing the future for our company all the time. But sometimes it's hard to get that vision across to everybody else. So I decided the best way to do it was to steal a can of spray paint from the Belaires and put my vision on the wall. I'm not sure if anybody's ever laid a distillery out like this before, but it makes sense for me because we start at one end with raw materials and we go through the whole process and all the equipment and we come out with a finished product at the other end.
This is how you plan out a distillery. You get your spray paint out and you measure out the plan that Mike made and you spray paint right on the wall. So the beer equipment's going there, the reverse osmosis system, boiler next, mash tun still. We're gonna lay it out on this whole wall. A la Les Nessman, for all those guys that used to watch WKRP in Cincinnati. We'll get the masking tape out on the floor here once they pour the concrete too.
And that's the type of design you can do when you design your building from scratch and not have to work around an existing building. This building is built for us.
Here we are, boys. Thanksgiving weekend, and you've been working all weekend. We've been
here.
You're trying to hit this deadline hard.
We're trying to make her happen.
I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Yeah, we just got back from our trip out to Ottawa's.
Yes, congratulations on the rye.
That was a big deal. Yes. This looks amazing. There was no roof on this when we left. In a week, you've built all these trusses. You put the roof on. You framed all this up. I can't believe how much you get done.
And the tin's half on. My wife even
The
came
tin's
in.
half on the roof already.
The tin's half on. My wife came in. Aaron came in to save the day this morning when the guys didn't show up. So
And you got a bunch of the
and
kids
our
here.
four kids
too.
are here.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing whatever we can to make this building
Real
come together.
family affair for sure. Awesome.
She's coming together.
I really have to thank the Belaire brothers because they've been very patient. This building was supposed to start 4.5 years ago. And we had a deal. We had a handshake deal back then. And they waited for me to get my act together this long and get all of the permits in place and whatnot. And they've honored their side of the deal. They've worked their tail off on this building. I feel bad for their wives and their kids because they've been away from them so much. But you're going to be able to have them back very soon.
You're at it early.
Of course.
As usual, of course you would be.
Why not? Sun's up. Not as early as you get the water during that game.
No kidding. I'm glad you came to help. It's gonna go fast. And I'm glad you brought some heat.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly out here.
He's obviously not working. He's not used to working in the outside.
Yeah.
This is not.
Hey, I have my Carhartts on. So how long you figure it's gonna take to put these back together, Grant?
Probably until we're done.
That'll be about the right amount of time.
Exactly that time.
Yeah. Donna did an amazing job reupholstering them. Yeah.
Good job.
Compared to what they looked like before.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they used to look like. And that's what they look like now. Much better.
History of these chairs. They're a Henderson chair, made in Canada by a family company. They supplied all the government buildings and hotels and restaurants for years, and then the family finally decided to shut her down. So they're kind of got some heritage as a true Canadian chair, all maple. That's the history of them.
I read up on it after you told me about them. The company started in 1914 and
Is that when it started?
super popular in the 60s.
Yeah.
And they ended up shutting her down in 1982. So these are definitely a piece of Canadian history, these chairs.
Yeah, they are.
And I bought them because they were cheap. I found them at a place that was going out of business for $5 a piece. And now I look online and they're selling for $100 a piece online. So
they're worth quite a bit.
it was definitely worth restoring them. So I'm glad you were able to do the restoration on the wood and Donna was able to do the chairs. And they're going to be comfortable for people that are having weddings and corporate events at the new distillery.
Yeah, they're tough chair. There's very little damage on them.
No.
When I went and fixed them up here, that were anything that was broke, so they're pretty sturdy.
Perfect.
How are you?
Hey, the next bit of tin's going on the bank part of the building.
Looking amazing, buddy.
You bet. Electrical's coming in. Things are progressing. Are we gonna be ready in time for the party?
You're hoping.
We always work better with deadlines, don't we? Hey, Texas, what are you guys up here in Edmonton doing?
Trying to put your shit together.
Well, this is going down to Seguin, Texas, so this is actually your stuff now.
Yeah, it is. It is. Can't trust a skinny chef, so we got to be able to taste the liquor and work our way through it.
Absolutely. You're up here for a couple weeks training?
Yeah. 2 weeks of drinking from the fire hose, and then by then we'll have everything turned on, ready to turn on back home.
That's good. Those leather aprons you got today look awful clean.
Yeah, we're gonna have to brand these. As soon as we get home, we're gonna put the hot irons to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see what Mike's got on here. He looks like an old blacksmith with his thing.
Absolutely. Well, maybe by the end of the 2 weeks, yours will start looking like his. So a lot of people don't know that we actually have two sister distilleries. One of them is in Texas and the other one is in New Brunswick. I have a friend from Beaumont that transplanted down to Texas about 15 years ago working the oil field, and he was ready for a career change. His wife's a pretty famous barrel racer down there, and they've got a horse ranch about halfway between Austin and San Antonio in a town called Seguin. Seguin's actually the pecan capital of the United States. Their town slogan says, "We have nuts." It's hilarious. So we decided to build a distillery right beside their riding arena. And because it's so warm there, the distillery actually only has 3 walls on it. And the pecan trees that grow around it, you could actually be literally in the building and reach up and pick pecans from within the distillery. So let's go check out CY Distillery in Seguin, Texas. After a bunch of months of building and us sending down equipment and helping them get things set up, we decided that Karen and I should fly down for the grand opening. And it was a great trip. We even got a tour of the local area and did some tubing. So here we are in Seguin, Texas. This is what you do on a Saturday afternoon. America. Got the barbecue going here. Got shrimp. Got the whole family here. So lots more fun to come with this crew. Well, the good news is everything showed up here. Nothing's busted yet. Touch wood. We've got a little more to go. Well, I spoke too soon.
Oh, you got a video of it?
Oh yeah. Well, what do you figure, Brent?
Your first crash.
How many bottles do you think you're gonna break?
It ain't a rig unless you break something.
Exactly. We know how successful we've been in Alberta with our drilling rig bottle, and we thought that that package would market really well in Texas, and there's 28 million people there. So we thought this was a way to get our products down there, but also allow Brent to cultivate his own recipes. So we're helping him develop some real traditional bourbon recipes down there. There's no enzymes involved. It's just corn and barley. And there aren't very many craft guys that are actually grinding grain and making everything from scratch the way you're supposed to in Texas. So we're doing it the right way there.
Things are starting to come together here down in Texas. Still roughed in. Still got to stand up the big tall vodka column on it. Got a mash tun in place. And we even got some spectators.
God bless Texas.
Where are you going?
He's going right in by the still.
Might as well get the video. You can hurt. Fraser.
You might have to rename this horse Whiskey. This is the initial setup of the tasting room bar here for CY Distillery in Seguin, Texas. Grand opening on what day?
9/11.
9/11/2021. Stay tuned.
So down in Texas right now, they're packaging our Double Double. They're not calling it Double Double because nobody in Texas knows what a Double Double is. So we're just calling it Double Cream. But we thought we needed to use more of the local terroir. So we've come up with a recipe that is actually a pecan pie flavored Double Double. And we're gonna be releasing that very soon in Texas and here in Alberta.
Let's do this upstairs, he says. Good idea, Jeff. Upstairs we go. Where's that? Oh, door on the inside.
So this is one of two columns that we have for our new wooden still that we're building.
Limited production run, super duper.
Yeah, probably only going to run it on nights when there's a full moon, actually.
Very cool.
So that's kind of a neat thing. So I want to carve this thing. It's solid oak.
Yeah.
It's a couple inches thick. And I've had the idea of carving kind of the history of the distillery into this thing and the things that we're based on, which is agricultural history of Alberta, the natural resources development of Alberta, a little bit about our family and Mike and Joanne that helped right from the very beginning to get this thing going, and then also a bit about our Indigenous partnerships that we have as well. The front of the still's got where all the windows are here.
Yep.
That leaves us 3 sides that we can carve.
Very cool.
So I think we'll pick a panel, and like on the one panel we'll do, I kind of have a picture in my head like the Alberta coat of arms.
Okay.
With the wheat field on the bottom and the rolling hills and the mountains and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then on the back, maybe we'll put my family history on there with our coat of arms and some thistle from Scotland and things like that. And then on this side here, I think we should do a tribute to the Treaty 6 land and the Indigenous people that were here before us and allow us the privilege of sharing their land with them. So I think it's,
Very cool.
and then the front, later on, we can always carve a little more onto the front as the distillery.
We got to get some stuff for some bootlegging in it. I want my role to be in here too. So.
Fair enough, yeah. So we'll put a little more, a little bit of stuff on the front too, but leave some blank space too. So we have 2 sections like this. This thing's gonna be 8 feet tall.
It's gonna be a monster.
And as far as we know, this is the first wooden column still that's been built since 1880. You know, probably somewhere out there in TV land, there's gonna be somebody that knows different than that, but the research I've been doing, there's one in South America at a rum distillery, and I don't think there's another one that's operational, so it's very unique. You know, from the reading I was doing, they'd find kind of like a hollowed out rotted tree and use that for the column before they had stainless steel and copper and things like that, so pretty rudimentary back in those days, I suppose, but anything to make a column. You know, a lot of the distillation got done in those days was just a pot still that didn't have a column at all. So this is a bit of a departure from normal, but my hope is that someday this thing, if we do a good enough job on it, ends up in a museum. I printed off some pictures here. Just, you know, when I design a tattoo, I get people to go on the internet and find a bunch of reference photos and print them off or send them to me. So, you know, get it
It's about getting that flow into it.
Exactly. And my chicken scratch notes.
All top secret.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of top secret context, we do have to point out this terrible excuse of a mustache you got going. It's Movember.
I started yesterday, so
This is the worst we've both ever looked on. You've got this thing coming in.
I had the whole beard, but Karen hates it. She says it's prickly. Hey, earlier in the year, that Top Gun movie came out, and the goose mustache was pretty popular, so I can pretend that that's what I'm trying to grow here.
I look like a dummy walking around in a flight helmet.
Exactly. All right, well, let's get some pencils out and some stencil paper, and let's see if we can design basically a tattoo for this still.
I like it.
Kind of cool, hey?
Absolutely.
All right. When you're doing your airbrushing, how are you transferring your images onto whatever you're painting?
I've tried a couple different things. I'm working on a helmet right now that I did like a vinyl transfer over top.
Yeah.
The easiest way is if you get yourself a lumber pencil for something like this. Let's put the cardboard on the backside. Put that back over top and just trace.
That's exactly how we do it. I do it when I'm doing a tattoo. So I'm going to basically trace this whole thing.
Yep.
And then blow it up big enough so that we can have, I would say, wheat from here to here, and then some rolling hills from here to here, and then we'll leave space for our elements that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And then on the second piece above here, we'll start with
our
the bottom of the mountains. We'll do that about halfway up, and then above that we'll have room for the rest of the items that we want to add on top. All right, let's roll this over because we want the bands to be equal distance between where the windows are, and the windows are on the other side of this one. So let's get her tipped up here. Yeah, 4.5, 4 1/4. 3 and
You better make sure those holes are all the same size before you start buying
5/8. I already bought the glass. I was at Crystal Glass the other day, 3 5/8. Well, what in the heck? Is this one the same way? So I'm from New Brunswick originally, transplanted to Alberta in the early 80s, but my uncle and my cousins still live down there, and they love what we're doing out here, and they wanted to be involved in the distilling industry. So they've been out to visit a couple times. We've done some training with my cousins, and they finally now have their own distillery set up. We've been going down and helping them and sending them ideas for recipes and helping them set their equipment up. Mike and Sean actually went down and drove all the way to New Brunswick from here, took a load of barrels and equipment down to them, and they're ready to be open now. So Karen and I are going to go down and check it out.
Here we are, First Lake Distillery.
Oh boy,
It smells like stuff's fermenting in here. It smells like home.
it smells good, eh?
You guys need more space already?
No kidding.
Oh, wow. Looks great. Got some lids made for the fermenters.
We did, we got those done, and every box, yeah, just got them.
And Mike and Sean got the still all set up for you. So
They did.
now we got to
We did the mash done ourselves.
make sure Kevin and Mike know how to run the darn thing. That's the plan while we're here, right?
That is the plan. That was the plan.
That is a huge manhole. You don't need somebody small as Mike to fit in this. We always send Mike in there. Oh, I'm sure Mike can do
Mike
it.
was in there. Mike was in there, and I had another Mike, and he was in this one.
You haven't got anything in barrels yet?
No.
But we're gonna start on that this week too, I
That
think.
would be great if we could get that rolling. This is all the filtration stuff we have for the other thing. Corn is here. This is how we're buying our corn. Which is
Oh, it's ground right to flour, eh?
Yeah, look, nice, eh?
It's easy to get rid of it when it's like that.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. So, but we have lots of it. We have that and that and that. We can do another, we can easily do another four
mashes, yeah.
Yep, 4 mashes.
That's good.
Yeah. So,
All right, let's go see the tasting room. A brick wall. You know, the photos of that wall don't do it justice.
oh no.
That's incredible.
It's nice, eh?
Beautiful.
Solid brick. Yeah. Bar area is really.
What can you fit in here?
194.
No kidding.
194, yeah.
How many square feet is this?
60 by 60.
3,600. Yeah. It's bigger than ours.
Yeah, it's good for events. It's really done well.
And then a patio out here too.
You can,
So that'll hold 150 people in this little courtyard.
so they've already had a wedding here?
No kidding.
Yes.
And they had it all like the arbor up there. They had it all decorated. They had a wedding planner.
Yep.
And they put everything out there, and it was really quite well done.
And what was the barbecue place you had here the other day?
Put me on the spot. I'm not sure what the name is. Billy something or Bob's.
Yeah.
It's just a big barbecue guy.
You had about 500 people show up for that?
Yeah, at least 500.
Incredible.
The parking lot was full, and the road was full, and they just kept coming. They just kept coming and coming.
That's a good thing. Everybody gets thirsty when they eat barbecue.
Well, a lot of people, though, were just picking up because they were pre-orders.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of people did stay, and most people stayed.
Great publicity.
Yeah.
A big part of this business is marketing, and part of our success has been our packaging, our drilling rig bottle. We knew that wasn't going to be a popular bottle in the Maritimes, but the most iconic feature in the Maritimes is the lighthouse at Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia. So we got smart and designed a bottle that looks just like that. And this is what they're going to be using at First Light Distillery. There's several other distilleries in New Brunswick already, but nothing as big as First Light. And there's lots of local resources. You know, McCain's started there. We can go and get reject potatoes from them, same as we do here with our friends, the Jespersons. Or the Crosby's molasses plant in St. John's, only about 45 minutes away from Fredericton. So some rum products are going to be top of the list for our cousin to make down there.
All right, Mike's getting all the valves set. Very first spirit run of First Light vodka going today. So this will be a good learning experience for him.